with being in the firehouse and, like I said, being an officer, it does help because it's, I have that leadership ability. I've gained, I can gain trust in people. People trust me to make the right decision, and I feel like, with work, that's part of why, they made me a manager. I have good leadership ability. I can take control, over situations. I can handle pressure well. Well, first off, you're never gonna know if you can do it unless you actually give it a shot. And second off, there's no feeling like this in the world. To hear the sirens and to pull up in a fire and and to help somebody and achieve something at the end of the night. We put that fire out. You were on the news. That's my fire truck. It's there's nothing better.
The firefighting tradition in your family?
For as long as I can remember, I used to chase my dad out the house, when he was going to fires, and I'd ride in the car and I'd run in the firehouse real fast and grab his gear for him while he was getting in to start it. And as I grew up younger than my older brothers who became firefighters before me. I did the same with them. If my dad wasn't home, I'd hop in the car with them, and I felt like I was a little firefighter, except for I didn't get on the truck.
Okay.
So what's the best thing about being a firefighter?
Just the, when you go out in public, everybody respects you. Everybody looks at you like, you're a hero, blah, blah, blah. Just being out there.
Don't be apologetic about it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so what's the best thing about being a firefighter?
Just, when you go out, everybody just, acknowledge you, say thank you for what you're doing. You're just putting yourself out there, saving people, helping people out. That's really hard to answer, honestly. That's really hard to answer.
Tell me about the situation where someone...
Actually, I think it was probably about 2 years ago, actually, that, we all went to a nighttime fire call, actually, and one of the people lost a dog. And she came out and actually thanked everyone and everything like that and said, you guys are amazing and blah, blah, blah. I keep saying blah, blah, blah.
Right. What would you say to other people considering volunteering?
Do it. I mean, like, if you want to do it, just do it. You got to give 110%. You can't come in thinking you're just gonna walk right through. Only go to like one drill a week. It's basically like a second job almost. You got to put your heart and you got to put a lot of time into it. A lot of training. You got to come to drills. Like we have drills every Tuesday. You got to come to drills. And you got to go to fire school, which is for 4 months you got to go to training to be able to get certified and everything. And
what if the person is maybe the reason they don't want to do it is because they're scared or they think it's dangerous or?
If you think it's scared, then don't do it. But it takes a lot of bravery and it takes a lot of heart to be able to run side of a house fire. When people are screaming or something like that. And then, but I just say I tell everybody that asks me, should I join? Should I not? I'm like, hey, go for it. But you got to give 110%. You can't come in and only give half.
So can only athletic people volunteer?
No, anybody can volunteer. Anybody can be a firefighter. You just gotta put time in it. I mean, like I was 16 years old when I joined. I was a little kid still, and I'm 21 now. So.
Tell us about how you feel about the training that you got through your company and through the county.
Through the county. I was 18 years old, so it was basic training. Now I'm getting more advanced training through the guys at the firehouse, and through my chiefs and through my captains and everything. And that's more hands-on. I'm actually doing things, not sitting in a classroom. And just, looking at slideshows. I'm actually, like, interacting with everything, and I'm, getting hands-on training.
Do you feel like, I guess where I'm going with that is...
When I first graduated fire school, but, was I prepared for what I was actually, like, coming into, like, some of the big stuff? Yeah, but I also had to learn a lot more than what I already knew when I graduated fire school. In fire school you only learn, like, basic knowledge, like, pulling a hand line, or, you learn your building construction and everything, but you don't learn like you don't learn more in depth stuff. Like there's like hazmat ops and hazmat tech, and then you got your basic, and then you got your BVR, which is basic vehicle rescue. You don't learn any of that stuff in fire school. You don't learn how to like use like jaws of life or an O cutter on a car or anything like that.
So the fire service, you're constantly being trained.
Yeah, in a fire service, you don't get enough training. Like everybody's always got to train. It's just like a job. Like I said, it's a second job. You always got to be trained. There's a saying. Shit, what is it? if you stop training, I forget it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's not. It's something like that. But like there's just not enough training out there. You know, even still to this day, you know, Archie's been in it for 40-some years. He's still going to classes now for stuff, and he's still learning stuff. You know, I'm 21 years old, and I'm still going to class. I'm still learning a lot, actually. You know, I go to probably fire school maybe once every 2 months. So, and I'm still learning. Well, what do you mean, like they're like that's kind of hard. Like firefighters, fire police.
All right, ignore that question.
Yeah.
You joined when
My dad has been a firefighter since he was actually 18 years old, and so I was basically raised around, you know, being a firefighter, coming around, meeting new guys, meeting everybody. You know, it's basically like a second family.
Why don't you tell us about your most exciting fire call that you've ever been on?
That was probably about 2.5, possibly 3 years ago. We got called out to it's called Sims Metals, a big recycling company down in the mill down in Falls Township, and it turned out to be like a big brush. I mean, not a big like recycling metal that caught on fire, and we were there from probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon to almost 11:30. I came out of work at 3 o'clock and I saw actual big header in the sky, and that I was like a little kid. I was like, all right.
What was your most, like I said, gratifying? Tell us about some of the other people at the fire company. What are they like?
We're all family, you know, we all hang out, we all, you know, go out after, you know, work, we all go out and get dinner, we all hang out at the firehouse. Actually, you know, I used to sleep in a lot. I used to sleep in almost every single day of the week, so I became really close with them, and you know, they were always there for me, I was always there for them, and you know, like I said, it's a second family, you know, and I respect all of them, and they all have my back and I have their back.
Family, you know, the tradition of your family.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, well, my dad has been a firefighter since he was 18 years old, and you know, when I was born, he brought me around, and he knew basically almost everybody that was, you know, there at the fire company. And when I was, you know, growing up and everything, I came around the firehouse, and I knew some of the guys then that are a lot, you know, older in the firehouse now. You know, they've been there 30, 40 years, and then you know, so when I was like 14 years old, I decided to be a firefighter, and I was like, yeah, let me give it a shot. And I joined when I was 16. I'm 21 now. And it was probably one of the best ideas I had in my life. You know, I know a lot of great people, hang out with them, you know, and everything.
Best thing about being a firefighter is the satisfaction you get after you complete either a fire or a rescue, knowing that you probably made a difference in somebody's life. You're there to try to be a little support when somebody's having probably the worst day of their life. My most satisfying fire call probably was the successful rescue we had. It was a elderly woman that was trapped in a house. We had large fire condition upon our arrival. We were able to knock the fire down, and several gentlemen helped assist bringing the woman out, and myself and another guy did CPR and were able to save the woman and bring her back to life.
What would you say to other people who are considering volunteering?
It's a job that it requires a lot of dedication. I mean, you know, it's something that you have to consider that there's a lot of people in your community that don't have the time to do it, that are, when they call 911, they're hoping somebody's going to show up. So, you know, if we want to do it, we'll take anybody that's willing to do it, but they got to understand that it requires a lot of dedication. There's a lot of time and training that go into being a firefighter. And after that's complete, you have the time and the effort to put in to respond to the fire calls when people are calling for help.
Already, but
Okay.
ask it a different way.
Sure.
How does it feel to make a difference and know that you're making a difference?
It feels good. I mean, you know, most guys don't, it's not something that you say to each other, hey, we made a difference in somebody's life. I mean, to be honest with you, after a fire, I mean, it's a situation where we're excited, we're pumped. You know, we stopped the fire, we made sure that nobody got hurt. You know, it's very much of a shame that someone lost all their possessions, but you know, this is what we work to do. We train, we put a lot of time and effort in. So, you know, it's a situation where we want to be there to be able to help people, but at the same time, we know we're getting something out of it as far as what we put the effort into and doing the best job we can to stop the fire. It's a feeling of uncertainty.
you know, you're not really sure even what they say it is. You don't really know until you get there, particularly if you have an incident where you're going down the road and you can see a large column of smoke. You know right then and away that you're going to be challenged. You're not sure what the challenges are going to be. You're not honestly sure if your life's going to be put in jeopardy or not. So there's always an element of uncertainty, but you just go with your training and rely on your fellow firefighters. I don't think I really want to talk about any of the fatals. So probably my most challenging and dangerous call was an incident my first year as an officer of the fire company. We had a house on fire. We started making an interior attack, and the fire kind of separated me from the rest of my crew. And to me, that was probably the most nervous I've ever been inside of a fire, because I take responsibility for those guys. I know that those guys are my responsibility. So I was very concerned when the fire separated us and we were able to get everybody out of the building and evacuate the building.
Fellow firefighters and fellow volunteers in the station?
My fellow volunteers, some of them I've been with for the full 27 years I've been in. Some of them I've only been with for a couple of years. Once they make that commitment, you kind of find that 90% of your time is spent with your fellow volunteers. You kind of lose contact with some of your friends you had before. Every party you go to, everything you do is kind of all revolve around the firehouse and the fellow firefighters.
Tell me about, so Jake, well, imagine Jake doesn't get
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. Basically, we would basically make you understand what's required of a firefighter. You know, we want you to understand what's going on here, what we do. But as long as the dedication is there and showing what you want to do, I mean, everyone is accepted. We take, everybody can assist the fire company. You don't have to be, you know, a big, strong guy. I mean, there's a lot of different things that a lot of different people could do. And, you know, as long as you're a person that likes to have a good time and understand the dangers are involved and work together as a team, then you have no problem getting accepted anywhere. No, anybody. I mean, it all depends upon you as a person that makes you accepted. Like I said, I've been in the fire service for 27 years. There's two gentlemen that have been in the fire service for probably about 10 years. These guys are my closest friends I've had in 27 years. So it all depends upon the personalities, but everyone gets along. Everybody has a great time. We do a lot of different things together. When we do Santa detail, take Santa Claus around, stuff like that, we have a lot of people helping with that. And, you know, we try to make everybody feel welcome, make them understand what they're going to do, and have them have some fun with us.
Yeah. All right. Think about being a firefighter.
Tradition, honor, courage. Third generation fire chief for Pendle Fire Company, so kind of grew up in the fire service, about serving the community and, you know, helping out your neighbors.
What would you say to other people who are considering volunteering?
Volunteering is definitely a commitment, but it's a rewarding commitment. You can learn a lot and help your community.
Can you tell me about your most rewarding fire call?
I would have to say when I was chief, pulling up at a structure fire with people hanging out of the windows and having to make a rescue from a second floor window was pretty rewarding. And being able to make a difference.
Leads right into my next question. How does it feel to make a difference?
Make you feel good inside to make a difference and help your community by volunteering.
Is it just about fighting fires for you, or is there something else to it?
No, it's all about family, and we're all a big family in the fire service, and it actually helped me get my career as a fire chief for Dow Chemical, and I enjoy doing what I do.
Tell us about some of your fellow firefighters and what it's like being at the firehouse.
A lot of, you know, togetherness and, you know, yeah, that's it. Camaraderie. We do that again? Yeah. Okay. A lot of camaraderie. There you go. Let me try that again.
Let's do it one more time.
Is there another word for that?
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. Camaraderie. Camaraderie. Brotherhood.
Oh, there's a good one.
Pergate Fox.
You should be doing this.
There you go.
All right.
Ask the question again, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your fellow firefighters and what it's like being in the firehouse.
We're all. It's a brotherhood that we're all together. We're in the station, whether we're on training, doing fundraising, making a difference. No matter how big or little the incident, we're there working together, and there's a lot of good teamwork that goes involved with that.
Tell me about.
Given a lot of in-house training to start. You're given the right personal protective equipment to keep you safe, and then you go through fire school training. You're spending 100+ hours of training before you can actually go in and start fighting fires. But no matter how big or small, what you want to get out of it, the training never ends. You're constantly.
It looks a little bit like you're talking in the camera.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit more about the training involved as a new recruit.
As a new recruit, when you come into the fire service, you go through in-house training as well as being sent to fire school, which is of no charge to the recruit. We get you through a lot of training in order to ride the fire trucks and go inside. We give you the right personal protective equipment to go in and fight these fires and keep you safe. And so the training really never ends. It's continuous.
Tell me about. Do you only need fit 25-year-old men?
No, volunteerism, we take everybody that we can, because it doesn't matter if you want to go in and fight fires or work administrative duties or do fundraising. We take recruits for just about everything to keep the volunteer fire company going.
You're a third-generation chief or just a third-generation firefighter?
Fire chief.
Fire chief. Talk a little bit about that, how that tradition in your family.
Okay. I kind of grew up in the fire service. My grandfather started over 60 years ago with the Pendle Fire Company and worked his way up to chief. My father followed in his footsteps, became chief, and I did so. I served as chief for 8 years myself, which helped me get my full-time job, which is a fire chief for Dow Chemical Company.
Do you have any children that are going to have to get involved?
And they're a little young at this point, but I hope they do continue the tradition.
Ever been on?
There's been a few. It is rewarding to respond to any type of incident and make a difference. But the most exciting one would have to be the one where I've actually made the rescue, pulling up as a fire chief, having people, hanging from the windows and being able to make the rescue. That's pretty exciting.
Tell me a little bit about up against.
Every fire call is different from what we get as being dispatched to, and what we find when we arrive on scene could be totally different. So, you have to be prepared and trained to handle every incident when you get on that fire truck.
Did your station have somebody else? Or?
What do you about being a firefighter?
The challenge, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, tradition, the rush, getting on the truck and getting on the road. Every day it's something different. Do it. I wish I would have joined 10 years ago. I lived across the firehouse for 10 years and just didn't join. One day decided to join and kicking myself in the butt every day ever since.
What kind of volunteers were athletic, big, strong guys, or can anyone do it?
Anybody can do it. Juniors, young kids still in high school can join, and they can start learning the trucks, learn the equipment, and then when they get old enough to take the test, and they're ready to go in the buildings.
You said it took you a while to join. What were your reservations about joining, and then what made you change your mind?
My work schedule, my wife and 2 kids,
Right.
but they make it work one way or another. Any amount of time that you can volunteer is helpful to the fire company.
Tell me a little bit about the fact that look right at Jake.
There's really no good excuse not to join. They're not going to turn you away and say, no, you can't be a volunteer firefighter. If you have the drive and desire to want to help your community, then there's going to be a spot for you at the volunteer fire company.
It feels to know that you're making a difference.
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling knowing that you can help people, and you really don't get a whole lot of thanks. It kind of, you know, behind the scenes, but it's great helping people.
Paint a picture for me.
Okay.
In 30 words or less.
Okay. Well, I live across the street from the firehouse, so when the tones drop, I grab my pager, run over to the firehouse. You know, you're getting dressed, jumping on the truck, getting your gear ready to go, listening to the radio, hearing about conditions, and it's adrenaline rush like no other.
Can you tell us what's been on?
My first interior job, I actually had a grab, which is we had a rescue out of the second floor window, and a lot of the stuff that I learned here for search and rescue techniques, you know, I used it all.
Is it just about fighting fires for you, or is there something else to it?
It's about fighting fires. It's about doing something for other people for the right reasons, not to get paid. Showing my kids that it's, you know, sometimes you have to do things to help people out and for the right reasons, you know.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your fellow firefighters and what life is like in the firehouse.
Life in the firehouse is, sometimes it's a circus, but it's a regulated circus. They're all great guys. After I graduated high school, I joined the Marines, and the brotherhood that I had in there is pretty much like the brotherhood that we have at the firehouse. I mean, you know that your guys have your back.
Sorry to bother. Sorry to interrupt. Can you say? Start right there. Ready and action.
The brotherhood that I had in the Marine Corps is basically the same type of brotherhood that we have at the volunteer fire company, and they're my brothers. I know that they got my back and I got their back, no matter what.
Other people?
As many people as I can. I mean, there's never too many volunteer firefighters, so everybody that's, you know, willing and able, I encourage them to come to the fire company and fill out an application.
So you mentioned that is it a family tradition? Did your dad or anyone volunteer firefighter?
No. I was the first Marine in my family. I was the first firefighter in my family. So it's just, like I said, I've always wanted to help people. Like I said, the Marines, I was able to help people, and now that I'm out in the civilian world, I can still get that same type of feeling.
Great. Tell me a little bit about, you know.
Yeah, I absolutely do. My kids come to the firehouse with me all the time. They jump on the trucks with me and help us clean when we're washing the rigs, and they want to become volunteer firefighters, and I encourage it.